My name is Luanne Riley, and this is my resurrection story. I grew up in a family that didn't really go to church. Going to church was a treat now and then that we got to go if we could find somebody that would take us, and Mom would get up and get us ready in the morning. She was a late night person, so mornings were not good for her. My grandmother died when I was 12, and she had a cousin that stepped into that role for us. And for Christmas every year she gave us religious books. I had a lot of understanding about God. I knew a lot about Jesus. I could never make the jump to actually believing. To me, it was kind of like some of the other myths that are too good to be true. You know, they offer lots of goodies and treats, but not really anything real behind it. And I could never get past that. The first time I heard God actually speak to my heart, I was in high school, and a girlfriend had invited me to come and spend the night with her, and her church was having a youth group from their college that came in and did they did some singing and skits and different things, and I didn't understand it. I didn't know what to do with it, but I was in tears by the end of the evening because I knew God was speaking to me. I knew something was going on. I didn't really know. Like I said, I had trouble trusting God, but I had trouble with the faith part of it, but the message that they had was powerful, and it really spoke to me. I got married, and very shortly after that, I had a dream. And in that dream, it changed everything. I knew that next morning that God was real, and He was with me. And He talked me through all the things that were wrong in my life. I'd fallen into the habit that a lot of young adults do of using bad language, and I just couldn't do it after that. I knew how it hurt His heart, and I just could not say those words anymore, and just all kinds of little things like that. My attitude, my pride, judgment of other people didn't matter anymore because I knew I was just as bad as they were. My mother-in-law had invited us to go to her church with her, and so we had started going with her, and that really was the foundation of starting to walk with God after that. And Trent and I were married for 10 years before we were able to have our first child, and that was a very long, painful time. Every month wishing, hoping, and it wasn't. Just before I turned 30, I decided it was time. I needed to know one way or the other whether it was going to happen. And so we did do some medical testing and just found out my thyroid was off. And taking that thyroid medicine, I got pregnant in 3 weeks. But God has, beyond my imagination, God has blessed me with 5 sons. I wasn't sure I was going to get one. They're a treat. They're a joy, and I wouldn't trade one of them for anything. Over the years, there have been challenges. We've had some problems in our marriage. Had 5 teenagers. Life is bumpy and messy and not always pretty, but God carries us through. 2.5 years ago, I got a diagnosis of terminal breast cancer, and so far I'm doing very well, and I'm really grateful to God for that, because there are a lot of people diagnosed at the same time I was that are already gone, and I want to make the most of every day I have, so I don't want to give up sooner than I have to, and I keep going because I want to make the most of what I've got before it's gone. God has definitely carried me through a lot. There have been times when I didn't know how I was getting from today to tomorrow, but God has always been there. He has always comforted, He has always led, He has always been available to me, and His love has been what's carried me through. When we first moved here, we drove back and forth to Nashville to a church that we had been attending when we lived in Murfreesboro, which wasn't too bad from Murfreesboro, but it was horrible from here. After a while, we were just burnt out, and we spent about 1.5 years at home. We did church at home. We did, our own Bible study and things so that the kids didn't lose out on learning about God, but we were just too tired to go. We started going to a different church for a while, and that church was very unhealthy. It did not work out well for us, for any of us. And then we spent about another year and a half not going to church, and I felt like things were not right with our family, that there were problems that needed to be addressed, and I didn't know even where to start. I didn't know what to put my finger on to fix. And so we started looking for a church again, hoping that that would help put things back in balance and in perspective. One of the things that was important to me was finding a church that was active in the community, not just within their own four walls. And this church at that time had had ads in the paper for a soup kitchen, and I don't even remember what all. There were 2 or 3 things that I had seen that this was one of the churches on our short list to visit. And we just stayed. This church has been a blessing, a huge blessing, because they are healthy and they are strong and they have supported and encouraged even when things get messy. Never felt judged here. I've never felt picked on here. I've never felt like I was second class here, even though we're the new people, or we're not local from here originally. And it has really been healing for me and all of us, I think. I know God has been faithful and He's found ways to use me. I don't see a lot in myself always, and sometimes my insecurity and my anxiety take over, but God's found ways to use me anyway. And I have really enjoyed spending time with the kids. I do with the after school care, with my Sunday school class. I really enjoy working with the kids. I really enjoy the adults. I enjoy church. I enjoy the people, and I didn't know until I was diagnosed with cancer how much people knew me and how much people cared about me. Somehow that opened a door that people felt free to say things that I didn't even know they were thinking. So I really, that has meant a lot to me. I'm Luanne. I have been crucified with Christ, and I no longer live, but Christ lives in me.